second speaker this morning is Mr. Jack Kantola. Jack spent the majority of his career running manufacturing companies both domestically and in England. He credits Toastmasters with giving him the communication and leadership skills he needed to be as successful as he was in business. Over 78 years on this earth, Jack has learned many lessons from life's experiences. Today, Jack will tell us about a lesson he learned from his daughter, Karen. Jack is fulfilling assignment number 2 from the Competent Communication Manual, Organize Your Speech. Jack's speech is entitled Lessons from a 2-Year-Old. Speaking 6 to 8 minutes, please welcome with me our second speaker, Mr. Jack Kantola.
At the tender age of 2, my daughter taught me a very valuable lesson. Wanting to be the great father that I wanted to be, I decided it was time that she learned how to clean up her room. Has anybody gone through that? Yes. And the response I got from Karen was very simple: no. I went through every option I could think of to the point where I finally ended up saying, take this one toy and put it on the bed. A simple request, easy for her to fulfill. Her response was, no. Mr. Toastmaster, most welcome guests and fellow Toastmasters. What does a father do at a time like that? I had 2 options. I either put my tail between my legs and meekly left the room, or I'd give her the spanking of her life and make her do what I want her to do. Well, I very wisely chose option number 1. Left the room, went into the living room and sat down and pondered what had happened. And it eventually dawned on me that I had 2 different children. My son John, if I said clean up your room, he would say yes sir and go right at it. John got his genes from his mother's side of the family. Loving, helpful, friendly people. My daughter Karen sadly got her genes from my side of the family. My family comes from western Finland in an area called Bothnia, where they're renowned for their incredible stubbornness. I knew that if I was going to work with this girl that I fathered, I would have to do something different. I was giving her ultimatums. I was not giving her options. And it's a lesson that served me well in life. I got to use that lesson 10 years later when my daughter and I were going to go hike up to Big Pine Lakes to be with the scout troop. I couldn't go up there for the whole week, so I went up there on a Wednesday and she wanted to go along. So we drove the motorhome up to Big Pine, pulled into the parking lot, stayed overnight, and the next morning we had a wonderful breakfast, grabbed our packs and went out and caught the shuttle to the trailhead. We threw our packs on our back and we started hiking up the hill. After we had gone about a mile, my daughter turned to me and said, I don't want to do this anymore. And I said, oh my God, to myself, how am I going to deal with this situation? I knew that I couldn't say, you have to do this, because she would have just dug her heels in even farther. I thought about it for a second. I reached in my pocket. I pulled out the keys to the motorhome and I said, honey, this is the key to the entry door of the motorhome. You just hike back down the hill, catch a shuttle, it comes every few minutes, take it back to the motorhome, and this will open the door. There's plenty of food and water in the motorhome. I'll see you in 4 days. Was I taking a chance? Big risk. But after some consideration, she finally said, no, I'll keep walking. We made it about another 4 miles and a scoutmaster came down to meet us. And his first words were, Karen, can I carry your pack? I've never seen a pack shift people so fast in my entire life. And she ended up having a great time, enjoyed the hike back down the hill, and now things went on. But the lesson there was, I offered her an option. I didn't give her an ultimatum. Something for us to remember when we're negotiating. That lesson came back a number of years later when she was in her 20s. She was coming down for Thanksgiving with her boyfriend Todd. And she called and she said, when we're down there, we'd like to have a family meeting. I mean, oh, okay. So the Friday after Thanksgiving, we gathered in the family room. That's where you have family meetings, right? We gathered in the family room, and Todd and Karen announced to us that they had decided to cohabitate. They felt that this institution of marriage was no longer relevant in our current society, and they were just going to go ahead and do it without getting married. And then, of course, they waited. They waited for my response. And I, again, thinking about what had happened over the years and how this was working, well, I said, you know, you guys have to do what you have to do. You're adults, you can make your own decisions. But I said, it does offer me one problem. They hesitated a bit and they said, what's that? I said, how do I refer to you, as the conjugal couple or what? I said, marriage is not just for you. Marriage is your announcement to the world that you've committed your lives together for the rest of your life. Well, they left. I didn't hear anything from them until one day at work in the middle of January, I got a phone call from Todd asking for my daughter's hand in marriage. Now they didn't have what we would refer to as a traditional church wedding. They got married in a winery and the service was officiated by a sea captain. But it was a whole lot better than the direction they were taking. Fellow Toastmasters, when we're negotiating in life, I think it's incredibly important for us to learn about the person we're negotiating with. What is their behavioral style? What is their mental style? How do they operate? Because we can't do it on the basis of our own style. My stubborn Finnish nature would say, do it or else. And that didn't work. But by understanding what my daughter's behavioral styles were, I could adjust my behavior to be able to achieve results. The second thing is, offer alternatives, not ultimatums. Everybody likes the ability to make a choice, to make a decision. And if we offer alternatives, chances are we're going to come out, as I did. I was on the winning end of both of those discussions. And she probably never thought about it that way. So think about this. Understand who you're negotiating with. Offer alternatives, not ultimatums. And you'll have much greater success in your life, Mr. Toastmaster.